Hello friends, welcome to UPSC Logics, and this is part 11 of the UPPSC special revision series on the Constitution of India. So this video contains around 200 questions in one line format and are based on the Constitution of India. And in this particular video, we'll have a look at the Union Territories, Governor and other aspects of the Constitution of India. So without wasting any time, let's begin. The report of Finance Commission shall be laid before the President. Grant in aid of revenue to the state is recommended by the Finance Commission, who finally approves the draft of 5-year plans. It was the National Development Council before Niti Aayog took over. For those union territories without legislative councils/assemblies of their own, laws are passed by the Parliament. Who is the competent to prescribe conditions for acquisition of citizenship? It is again the Parliament. Who has the power to increase the salary and allowances of the President of India? Again, it is the Parliament. One third of the members of Rajya Sabha retire every 2 years. Special leave means permission granted by the Supreme Court to appeal. Respite means awarding lesser punishment. Violate means commit breach of law. Interpret means ascertaining the meaning of a word. Which one of the following commission was not been provided in the Constitution? It was the Planning Commission and now it has been replaced by the Niti Aayog. The Planning Commission was an executive body. Which of the following offices has not been provided in the Constitution? It was the post of Deputy Prime Minister. Which article of the Constitution provides protection to the civil servants? It is Article 311. Who has the power to create all India services? Parliament. Which article of the Constitution authorizes the Parliament to create all India services? It is Article 312. Parliament under Article 312 gets the power to create all India services when Rajya Sabha passes a resolution with two-thirds majority. Which article of the Constitution provides for the composition of Public Service Commission? It is Article 315. The members of Indian Administrative Services will be under the control of Ministry of Human Resource Development. The member of Indian Police Services will be under the control of Home Minister. The member of the Indian Forest Services will be under the control of Ministry of Environment and Forest. Immediate control of the members of All India Services lies with the state government. The disciplinary action against the members of All India Services lies with the central government. Members of All India Services hold office during the pleasure of the President. The following All India Services are contained in the Constitution. Number 1 is All India Judicial Services, number 2 is Indian Forest Services, and number 3 is Indian Administrative Services. The body which recruits all persons to All India Services is the UPSC. Chairmen and members of UPSC shall hold office for a term of 6 years and a tenure of 65 till the age of 65. Same for PSCs. It is a tenure of 6 years and till the age of 62 years. In the removal of which of the following officials does the Parliament play no role? So the chairman of the Union Public Service Commission, the Parliament plays no role in the removal of that. Then the chairman and members of the UPSC or UPPSC may resign their office by submitting their resignation to the President or the Governor. Salaries and pensions of the chairman and members of UPSC shall be charged on Consolidated Fund of India in the case of UPSC, and in case of PSC it is charged on the Consolidated Fund of the states. UPSC, UPPSC has to submit an annual report to the Parliament or to the Governor. Who enjoys the rank of Cabinet Minister of the Indian Union? It is the Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission. Now, of course, the Planning Commission is no longer there. Planning Commission was composed in the year 1950. Who heads the National Integration Council? It is the Prime Minister. Recognition of states was done in the year 1956 on the grounds of linguistic basis. Which was the first state in India formed on linguistic grounds? It was Andhra Pradesh. Which part of the Constitution incorporates special provisions to the state of Jammu and Kashmir? It is 21st. The provisions with regards to union territories are incorporated under the Constitution by way of the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act. Every union territory shall be administered by the President. The union territory does not have recognized official language. Who has the power to create legislature or council of ministers or both for certain union territory? Pondicherry, the Parliament. Under Indian Constitution, the Union Territory of Delhi is referred as National Capital Territory. When did Delhi become a Union Territory? In the year 1956. The administrator appointed under Article 239 to the Union Territory of Delhi is called the Lieutenant Governor. Which of the following Union Territory has a Legislative Assembly? It is Delhi. Legislative Assembly of Delhi shall have the power to make laws for the whole of National Capital Territory with respects to matters contained in both List 2 and 3. The Chief Minister of Delhi shall be appointed by the Lieutenant Governor. The Council of Ministers of Delhi shall hold office during the pleasure of the Prime Minister. The Council of Ministers of Delhi shall be collectively responsible to the Legislative Assembly of Delhi. The emergency provisions for National Capital Territory of Delhi are enshrined under Article 239A. Who has the power to constitute a High Court to the Union Territory? It is the Parliament. Before 1956, the present-day Union Territories were characterized as Part C states. Parliament has delegated some legislative power in relation to the Union Territory to Union Government. The aid and advice rendered by the Council of Ministers to the Administrator of the Union Territory is discretionary. Who is authorized to appoint the Chief Minister of Delhi? It is the Lieutenant Governor. In 1954, Government of India introduced decorations in form of medals, Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan and Padma Shri awards under Article 18. In 1996, the Supreme Court upheld the validity of civilian awards, but recommended that the total awards to be given each year in all categories should be restricted to 50 in number. Indian Constitution was inaugurated on 26/1/1950. The chairman of Rajya Sabha is elected by the two houses of the Parliament. Which one of the constitutional posts is enjoyed for a fixed term? It is the President's post. Which is the highest court of justice of India? The Supreme Court. The President of India is similar to the Queen of England. President declares emergencies on the advice of Council of Ministers. Who was the President of India at proclamation of emergency in the year 1976? It was Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. Who was the Defense Minister of India during the Indo-China War of 1962? It was V.K. Krishna Menon. Which portfolio was held by Dr. Rajendra Prasad in interim government formed in the year 1946? It was Food and Agriculture. Which system of government in which the real executive is absolutely dependent upon the wishes of the legislature? It is the parliamentary form of government. In India, a tax on agricultural income can be levied by only the state governments. Which one of the following is not among the source of revenue for the union? It is land revenue. Under which articles the Supreme Court has been given the power to review any judgment pronounced or order made by it previously? It is Article 137. The office of Lokpal and Lokayukt in India is based on one of the following. Its Ombudsman in Scandinavia. The constituents of Indian Parliament as mentioned in the Constitution are President, Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The name of Lakkadive, Minicoy, and Amindivi Islands was changed to Lakshadweep by an Act of Parliament in 1973. The full status of state was conferred upon the Union territories of Manipur and Tripura in 1972. Which one of the following states/union territories of the country has more than 50% tribal population of the total population? It is Dadar and Nagar Haveli. The residuary powers, that is, those relating to subjects not mentioned in any of the three lists, including in the 7th schedule, are according to our constitution vested in the Union Parliament. The Secretary General of Lok Sabha, who is the chief of its secretariat, is appointed by the Speaker. Which commission was set up in pursuance of a definite provision under the article of the Indian Constitution? It was the Election Commission. Which one of the following is not a type of relationship specified by the Constitution of India between center and states? It is judicial. Which one of the following is not a constitutionally mandated body? It is the center-state relations. Who was the first chairman of the Planning Commission? It was Jawaharlal Nehru. Who among the following enjoy the rank of a cabinet minister? It is the deputy chairman of the Planning Commission, the leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha, and the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Which is the constitutional authority that has been made responsible for constituting the Finance Commission periodically? It is the President of India. The Finance Commission is normally expected to be constituted after every 5 years. What is true about the Finance Commission? It is constituted under the Article 280 of the Constitution. Who was the Chief Justice of India when public interest litigation was introduced into the Indian judicial system? It was Justice P.N. Bhagwati. The concept of public interest litigation has strengthened the rule of law. Public interest litigation means petitions by any conscious person or organization on behalf of an aggrieved person or group for reasons of interest of the public. In India, national income is estimated by Central Statistical Organization. As per Article 100, Part 3, the quorum to constitute a meeting of either house of the Parliament is 1/10 of the total number of members of that house. The rule of law means that no person can be punished unless his guilt is established by a fair trial. The term law, used in the expression rule of law, refers to positive law. In a particular case, the advice tendered by the Council of Ministers is sent back to the President for reconsideration. If the Council of Ministers adhere to their earlier advice, the President has no option but to accept such advice. In which of the following situations can the President promulgate the ordinance? When the Parliament is not in session. The gap period between two sessions of the Lok Sabha is termed as recess. Both the Union and the states derive their authority from the Constitution of India, which divides, as between them, all of the following powers except the judicial power. Which of the following schedules in the Constitution divides the legislative powers between the Union and the states? It is the 7th schedule. The power to legislate with respect to any matter not enumerated in any of the three lists are mentioned as residuary powers. Which of the following is empowered to determine finally as to whether or not a particular matter falls in that category? That is the judiciary only. The vesting of residuary power under our Constitution in the Union instead of state legislature follows the precedent of the Canadian Constitution. The draft of the Indian Penal Code was prepared by the first Indian Law Commission. Main standing committee of the Lok Sabha are Public Accounts Committee, Public Undertaking Committee, and the Estimates Committee. To whom does the Public Accounts Committee submit its report? It is the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. To work for General Purpose Committee is to advise the Speaker. Which one of the following is not a parliamentary committee? It is the Demands on Grants Committee. Which of the following committees are sometimes described as twin sisters? It is the Public Account Committee and the Estimates Committee. To which of the following bills the President must accord his sanction without sending it back for fresh consideration? It is the Money Bill. 14 days notice is necessary for moving a resolution of impeaching the President. In the Union Budget in India, which expenditure is the largest in amount? It is the non-plan expenditure. The 11th Fifth Five-Year Plan has been named as Towards Infrastructural and Agricultural Growth. On which of the following subjects does the power to legislate vest both in the Union as well as the state legislatures? It is the acquisition and requisitioning of property. The President is empowered to establish an interstate council if at any time it appears to him that the public interest would be served thereby. Which of the following has not been set up? It is the Interstate Commerce Council. The Council of Ministers in India remains in their office till it enjoys the support of majority of the members of the Lok Sabha. The Council of Ministers is larger than Cabinet. The resolution for removing the Vice President of India can be moved in the Rajya Sabha alone. Anti-Defection Act relating to disqualification of members of Parliament and state legislatures does not cover the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Which one of the following amendments to the Constitution clearly has laid down that the President of India is bound to accept the advice given by the Council of Ministers? It is the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. Under which Ministry of the Government of India does the Food and Nutrition Board work? It is the Ministry of Human Resource Development. The Archaeological Survey of India is an attached office of the Department/Ministry of Culture. Survey of India is under the Ministry of Science and Technology. Which one of the following is not a department in Ministry of Human Resources Development? It is the Technical Education and Literacy. Which one of the following articles of the Constitution of India says that the executive power of every state shall be so exercised as not to impede or prejudice the exercise of the executive power of the Union? It is Article 257. Under which article of the Indian Constitution did the President give his assent to the ordinance on electoral reforms when it was sent back to him by the Union Cabinet without making any changes in the year 2002? It was Article 123. Under which article of the Indian Constitution did the President make a reference to the Supreme Court to seek the court's opinion on the constitutional validity of the Election Commission's decision on deferring the Gujarat Assembly elections in the year 2002? It was Article 143. The Consultative Committee of Members of Parliament for Railway Zones is constituted by the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. The Supreme Court of India tenders advice to the President of India on matters of law or fact only if he seeks such an advice, and these are generally matters of public concern. Judicial activism refers to expansion of jurisdiction of courts. Which one of the following duties is not performed by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India to control the receipt and issue of public money and to ensure that the public revenue is lodged in the exchequer? If a new state of Indian Union is to be created, which schedule of Constitution must be amended? It is the first schedule. Which subject is under the Union list in the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India? It is the regulation of labor. The Speaker can ask a member of a house to stop speaking and let another member speak. This phenomena is known as yielding the floor. The sovereign power under the Indian Constitution rests with the Parliament. Parliament is an instrument of legal justice. Under which article of the Constitution does the central government give plan assistance to state government? It is Article 275. What is value added tax? A simple, transparent, easy to pay tax imposed on the consumers. Of course, now it has been replaced by the GST. Who is the President of the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research? It is the Prime Minister. Under the Constitution, which of the following functionaries can be suspended? These are the members of Public Service Commission. In India, present trend of rapid urbanization is due to lack of employment opportunities in the rural areas. Under the Indian parliamentary practices, normally how many sessions take place? These are 3 in number. The contingency fund of India rests at the disposal of the president, which is not a characteristic of economically underdeveloped countries. High proportion of labor in secondary activity. Who declares war and concludes peace? It is the president in the advice of the cabinet. Who appoints the governor of the state? It is the president. Membership of legislative assembly can vary between 60 to 500. What is the minimum age in years for becoming the MLC and MLA in a state? It is 30 and 25 years. What is the tenure in years of office of MLA and MLC in the state? For MLA it is 5 years, for MLC it is 6 years. What is the eligibility age and tenure of office of the governor? 35 years of age and 5 years of tenure. The state legislature, unless dissolved earlier, shall continue for a period of 5 years. The Legislative Council shall be subjected to dissolution, however, one-third of its members shall retire after every 2 years, just like the Rajya Sabha. Who appoints the Vice Chancellor of the universities? It is the Governor. Who is the executive constitutional head of the state government? It is again the Governor. The executive powers of the state government shall be exercised in the name of the Governor. Generally, the Governor belongs to some other state. The Governor of a state acts as the agent of the President. The Governor of a state shall be appointed by the President. The Governor holds office during the pleasure of the President. As a matter of convention, while appointing the Governor of a state, the President consults the State Chief Minister. The Governor is the part and parcel of the state legislature. The salary and allowances of the Governor are charged to the consolidated fund of the state. The emoluments of the ministers in a state government are determined by the Legislative Assembly. The salaries and allowances of the Speaker of Legislative Assembly and Chairman of the Legislative Council shall be determined by the state legislature. The emoluments, allowances and privileges of the Governor shall be determined by the Parliament. If the Governor of a state wishes to relinquish office before the expiry of his/her term, he/she has to address the resignation to the President. The Governor plays a dual role as an agent of the President and as the constitutional head of the state. The Governor of a state should not hold any office of profit. The Governor may resign from his office by writing to the President. Can one person act as a governor of more than one state? Yes. When a person acts as a governor of more than one state, his salary is shared by the concerned states. Which one of the following legislative power is enjoyed by the governor? Number 1. Can nominate certain members of Anglo-Indian community to the Legislative Assembly. Number 2. Can summon or prorogue the state legislative. And number 3. Can appoint 1/6 of the members of the Legislative Council. Who discharges the duties of office of a governor if it falls vacant due to death or resignation? It is the Chief Justice of the High Court. The Governor of a state is administered the oath of office by the Chief Justice of the High Court. There is no provision for impeachment of the governor. Which one of the following is correct regarding the governor of a state? Number 1. No money bill can be introduced in the state legislature without the prior permission of the governor. Number 2. He can recommend to the president to impose president's rule in the state under Article 356. He has the power to issue ordinances when the legislature is not in session. The governor can issue ordinances only during the recess of the state legislature. The ordinances issued by the governor are subject to approval by the state legislature. A governor may be transferred from one state to another state. The governor has the power to dissolve the legislative assembly. Who appoints and administers the oath of a chief minister and council of ministers? It is the governor. The contingency fund of a state is operated by the governor. The governor is accountable for his/her actions to the president. Unless approved by the state legislature, the ordinance issued by the governor remains in force for a maximum period of 6 months. The district judges and magistrates of the civil courts are appointed by the governor. The High Court of Karnataka was established in the year 1884. The Guwahati High Court has a territorial jurisdiction over 4 number of states. The High Court for the territory of Andaman and Nicobar is the High Court of West Bengal. The number of states under the jurisdiction of High Court shall be decided on the basis of area and population. Who decides the number of judges in the High Court? It is the President. High courts in India were first started in 1862 at Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. The governor can recommend imposition of president's rule in the state at his discretion. The term of legislative assembly can be extended for a period of 1 year during the time of emergency. Governor will act under the following circumstances with advice of ministers while he appoints the Advocate General. Parliament or state legislature can declare a seat vacant if the member is absent from the session for a period of 60 days without permission. Bicameral means presence of 2 houses in the state. Unicameral means presence of 1 house in the state. What is the system of legislature in the state of Karnataka? It is bicameral. Which are the 2 states having a common capital? Punjab and Haryana. Sikkim was admitted as a full-fledged state of the Indian Union in the year 1975. So friends, this brings us to the end of this particular video. In the next video, we shall continue with the state government, and do like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed as yet. And don't forget to press the bell icon for notification of new videos from UPSC Logics. Thank you so much for watching, and Jai Hind.